One of the main premises in vampire films is that a guy vampire falls for a human woman and you get a game of cat and mouse to see if the vampire can get and turn the woman. Well, this list is the opposite. In these situations, you didn't notice or care about the character just for it to be revealed that they were the monster the whole time. Here are 10 women whose vampire turn caught me off guard. Gabrielle, Xena, Warrior Princess. In Season 9, Episode 16 of the syndicated series Xena Warrior Princess, we get the introduction of Bacchus, the god of blood, wine, and partying. It is revealed that he is behind a rash of kidnappings where young village girls are going missing as we find out that he is turning them into his Bacchae, or basically vampires. As the episode progresses, Xena's travel mate Joxer believes that she is one after seeing blood on her neck, and warns her normal partner Gabrielle to look out because she'll probably turn on them. Well, that's not exactly what happens. Somehow, off camera, it was actually Gabrielle who was bitten, and out of nowhere, she is the one who ends up turning. Gabrielle Garza, Port Charles. Why didn't we see this coming? Simple. This was, up to this point, a regular, run-of-the-mill daytime soap opera, so why would we think anyone on this show was capable of being a vampire? At the time this aired, the bulk of the storylines were about people in their 20s sleeping with each other, while the older crew are working at a hospital, as this took place in the same city as the long-running daytime soap General Hospital, just for a younger audience. So how did things change? Simply and literally out of nowhere. The normally mild-mannered Gabrielle Garza all of a sudden started treating her boyfriend like garbage and hanging out with the wrong crowd. Again, nothing out of the ordinary until one day her and her boyfriend have an argument, and as she pushes him out the door, he cuts himself. Immediately, her demeanor changes, and she no longer wants him to leave and begins to lick the blood from his arm. At that point, the record scratches. Okay, that's weird behavior for a soap opera character, but okay. From there, the series gets very supernatural, as Gabrielle is the first one to get fangs in what would eventually become Minnie as the show turns to a more fantastic Dark Shadows type turn. Catherine, Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood. Catherine's the type of woman you get warned about. Looks like a Baywatch beauty lingerie model on the outside, but is a devout Christian conservative personality-wise, so when she shows up, that means the fun usually stops. In the 1996 film Bordello of Blood, she hires a private investigator named Rafe Gutman to find her brother who went missing after visiting a brothel. Unbeknownst to her, that brothel is run by a vampire resurrected by her own boss, who ends up deciding she has eyes for her as well. Lilith, the vampire who runs the bordello, does end up catching Catherine, but we're led to believe that she is saved just in time before Lilith sinks her teeth into her. This is proven to be incorrect, as at the end of the movie we find out that wasn't the case, and we witness Catherine sprout a pair of fangs and feed on Gutman. Though we probably should have seen it coming when the normally prudish woman actually flirts with the guy. Vanessa, Blade. Blade is the half-human, half-vampire of Marvel Comics lore who was played by Wesley Snipes. The film that saved Marvel Studios follows the hero as he tries to destroy vampires who feed on humans as he wants revenge for his mother, who was sexually assaulted and killed by one. Well, that's what he thought. It's eventually revealed as a shock to everyone that his mother is alive, well, undead, and that she was a willing participant in the relationship that spawned him. On top of that, the vampire makeover she got does her very good. Unfortunately, it doesn't last long after the reveal. Dr. Hoffman, Dark Shadows, 2012. This gets on the list because it was definitely a form of creative license by Tim Burton in his 2012 dumpster fire motion picture version of the 1960s supernatural soap opera. In the source material, Dr. Hoffman is legitimately trying to help cure the vampire Barnabas of his affliction, and most importantly, never becomes a vampire. In this film, though, it's eventually found out that she's only telling him that she's trying to help him, but in reality, she's using his blood to keep herself young. It is then revealed as he feeds on her that she herself has fangs. Not only that, but she survives his attack as we see her eyes open after her body was disposed of under the water at the end of the film. Natalie, Vampire Academy. Oh, Natalie. The shy, quiet, nerdy girl you don't pay attention to in all teen movies who seems to have a real Velma from Scooby-Doo vibe about her. No one would have thought going into 2014's Vampire Academy film that by the end of the film she'd have her hair down, be in a sexy form-fitting dress, and oh yeah, be one of the film's main villains and a monster at that. That turn was worth the price of admission alone, as many would find themselves quite jealous of her victim. Sarah, Fearless Vampire Killers. Sarah was the damsel in distress who the vampire hunters were there to save in 1967's Fearless Vampire Killers. Basically, the entire movie's purpose was to show off how hot the late actress Sharon Tate was. Eventually, our heroes finally do rescue her from her vampire captors, but that's when at the final moments before the credits, when we think they've triumphed, we see fangs grow from her mouth and she bites her hero, with a voiceover telling us how in trying to stop it, the heroes actually are responsible for the vampire plague spreading. Vivian, Vampires vs. the Bronx. Vampires vs. the Bronx follow the exploits of a group of kids in the Bronx who are concerned as their neighborhood starts getting gentrified by a mega corporation, who they eventually find out is run by vampires who plan on using the Bronx as a buffet. As that's going on, we're introduced to an unassuming Caucasian woman named Vivian, who also around the same time moves to the Bronx and tries to blend in with the community, though no one trusts her, thinking she might be a snitch or a Karen, as she's a very, let's say, not diverse person in a very diverse neighborhood. Due to her unassuming behavior throughout the early parts of the film, it's out of left field that we learn that not only is she a vampire, but she's the head vampire hiding in plain sight the whole time. Isabel, The Vampire Diaries. The Vampire Diaries spends the majority of the first season of the show telling you that show protagonist Elena's parents died in a car accident and she and her brother were left with relatives to raise them. So who'd have thought that not only would Elena's mother Isabel not be dead, but she's a vampire. An evil one at that, under the spell of her daughter's doppelganger. Unfortunately, that revelation would be short-lived, but we got a couple of good episodes out of it on top of the return of fangs for Canadian actress Mia Kirshner of Dracula series fame. And finally, Desire, I Desire. Probably the ultimate vampire bait and switch is the one given in the NBC made-for-TV movie Desire the Vampire, aka I Desire. Why? Because in this film, you don't see the vampire until the very end, as all the kills are in first person. Once she is revealed, I'm sure for some, you probably have to watch the film twice or more to realize she's in the very background of most scenes the entire time as just a random hospital worker. Basically, you find out that a presumably unimportant character that might as well have been an extra is the sexy man-seducing vampire murderer the main character is looking for the whole movie, hiding in plain sight. In fact, not sure how she even has time to sleep, working during the day and eating men at night, but it was definitely a reveal that blew your mind at the time the film aired. So that's 10 times we all would have been a victim because we didn't see the woman being a vampire coming. Are there other vampire women in TV or movies that just blew your mind when it was revealed that they were the monster? Give me your picks in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late-night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon, where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube, along with download options. Link is in the description.